Hello, my friends. Jerry Rosa here in the Rosa String Works Man Cave. Don't have a whole lot to show and tell today because I'm still stuck on that lawn tractor. And the only good thing is that since we spoke, those hydraulic pumps did come in last evening. They came in just as I was quitting, about 6 o'clock in the evening or so, heading up to the house. And so I put them in the shop there that yesterday evening, and then this morning I got out there and started working on all that. So taking all of that hydraulic stuff apart, man, it's you'll see it in the video here that I basically explained that I don't have any question of how to do all this. I get it. I totally understand how this whole thing works. I totally understand the design of it. In fact, I really like the design of it overall. But that doesn't mean it's easy. And so I've got that video to share with you. Let me go ahead and get that started, and then we'll move on from there. Oh my goodness, I've spent all morning back and forth. I had to take the tires back off this. I had them on there, but I had to take all kinds of things apart. There was a bar here. This bar went across here, and I had to get that off to get it out of my way where I could get to things. Then there was another one of these big flat bars, right like this down here, this big flat bar, but it was up here, and those pumps were mounted to it right here. Across, you can probably see the remnants of where it went there. There's a big, it went there, and that big flat bar, that's what the pumps were mounted to. So I had to take all that out. I had to loosen up this belt. I had to rig up this thing here to spread this pulley so I could get the belt loose. There's no manual adjustment on this thing. It's just spring tight and it stays tight. That part's a pain. Man, that was a pain. There's nothing been easy on this all day, and it switches constantly between SAE, size, bolts and nuts to metric size bolts and nuts. It switches back and forth. Every other bolt and nut is a different thing. It's either switches from SAE to metric, or at least it switches sizes, one of the two, so you can't drive two screws in a row, don't seem like. It's a mess. So then I got all that out, and it took me forever. It was not easy. Trust me, it was not easy. And I've got it over here. There's the big metal plate back there. This and this were bolted to that metal plate. This new one here, I've transferred all the parts off of this new one. You can kind of see what the parts were. These are opposites. This one here is opposite of that one. And and then I had to transfer all these extra fittings and these fittings and these fittings. It's just been a nightmare. It has been so much work. Moving those motors and everything, those are really heavy. They're way heavier than this is. But doing all of that was, your average weekend warrior could have done that. This here, not so much. This has been a nightmare, and everything's been 3 times tighter than it should have been. Getting those pulleys off of these shafts was just next to impossible. Really hard to do. And penetrating oil, schminatrating oil, it doesn't do nothing. You put that stuff on there, and all you got to do is pry harder, and it finally works. Once you pry hard enough, it'll come apart, but that's what has to be done. My goodness. Well, they sent me the Super Clean to take a look at that. I haven't done that yet. I did that a long time ago, and I think it's good stuff. I also got another little toy sent to me. This one looks really nice. Don't know yet. It's another welder. This one here says 200 amps, so that's bigger. That would be really nice. It's a Yes Welder, simple controls. I'm excited to give it a try. I guess that's kind of what it looks like there. You can see 3-minute quick start, 7-inch LCD screen, dual voltage, 200 amps. I'm assuming it's a wire feed and stick, but I don't know. I haven't looked at it yet. I don't know anything about it. Yeah, well, okay, it looks like it does all three. It's got wire feed here. It's got the MIG, the flux core, the TIG, and the stick. So in effect, you could say it's all four. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Looking forward to getting that out and trying that, but that won't be today either because this lawnmower has to go back together. I'm hoping that by the end of the day today, I'll have it back together. And that's a lot of wishful thinking because this is really difficult. I can't even tell you how difficult it is, but it's, let me back it up the truck and explain this. The concept is simple. I know exactly what needs to be done. I'm not guessing. I know exactly what I need to do. Exactly. There's not any question about it. But every single step along the way is super hard. It won't let me do it for one reason or another. Either there's something in the way and I can't turn a wrench, so you got to take more apart. Or like I said, it just keeps switching from metric to SAE and back and forth. It's done that a dozen times at least. Or the parts are just stuck together so hard. But yeah, I don't even know how to explain it other than that. It's just crazy hard. It's a good thing I've had a lot of experience doing a lot of this kind of stuff because I'm telling you, your average weekend warrior would have already given up on this because they would have said, nope, that can't be done. And that's almost the way I feel about it. It kind of feels like it can't be done. But somehow, some way, somewhere, I'm going to get it done. I just hope that after I get it done and get it back together, it doesn't go, ha, you wasted all your time and money. I'm still not going to work. Because it could do that if it wanted to. And that's typically how the luck goes, but I'm hoping for better luck than that. Yep, I'm still hoping for better luck than that because, man, it would really suck canal water to get this all back together, completely finished, and have it not work. Oh, gosh. Technically, it has to. I mean, it has to work. Theoretically, technically, hopefully, some way it's supposed to work. I don't know. We'll see. That's all I can say. I don't even know how else to explain it. It's really, really tough. I mean, if I was doing this 20 years ago, it would still be really tough. I mean, every single bolt, every single thing is just so stinking tight. You think you're going to break them off. Like even a 7/16 bolt, which is small, I mean, I don't know what millimeter that would be. I'm going to say around 10, 11 millimeters, somewhere in there, that size of a bolt. Typically, those things aren't so tight that like these have been so tight they feel like they're going to twist off as I'm taking them loose. And on a little 7/16 bolt, that's crazy. I mean, they do feel like they're going to twist off. That's how tight everything is. And that includes everything. I mean, like even the little set screws for the pulleys that I had to take off, the set screws were that tight. It felt like, well, in fact, it did. It actually twisted the hex wrench. It's just nuts. It's just way harder than it should be. I mean, this is a big, hard job, even if everything went easy. And that's if it went easy. It's a really hard job. And it's not going easy at all. Well, let's see. Rod Wentler was first one in today. Ronald Todd says, good afternoon, Jerry, from the West Blanks in New Jersey. Bill Rhodes says, good afternoon. Dottie says, afternoon. Let's see. Looking for the question marks primarily, and Dottie's praying for us all. Thank you.
I'm just hoping we don't get into World War III over there in the Middle East, the way things are going right now. Let's see. Bill Webb says, good afternoon, and I say back at you. And Dottie says, my mom kind of knew me today. We took her to lunch, ate, and then she went to sleep. I think she's trying to say, not the mom I know. Prayers, please. Yep. I feel for you, Dottie. That's just terrible. It's really difficult to deal with. Scott Roberts, I always thought cottage cheese was actually a kind of cheese. It's not. It's just occurred to me. Oh. I do get that one. After we went live, Dottie Hildebrandt was the first one in there, and then Ronald Tudd's prayers. Let's see. And then Gino's got some question marks. Hi, Jerry and friends. Still raining here. Good luck with the mower. Missed yesterday's doctor's appointment. Well, that ain't good. I hope you didn't miss your appointment, but if you did, good luck getting another one. They're tough to get these days. Scott Roberts says, life of leisure. Bet it's easy being you, Jerry. Yeah, it is. A piece of cake. Let's see. Bill Mumbo says, if first you don't succeed, pry again. You can bet on that one. There were, like that one rod that I showed you that rod went across there. Well, it was just blocking the ports on where those hoses were attached for the hydraulics. So I had to get that rod out of the way. Well, I've told you before that big impact wrench that I got from Harbor Freight will turn anything. Maybe not. It wouldn't turn those bolts. So I thought, well, I'll put a wrench on there and see if I couldn't turn it by hand. I couldn't get it to turn by hand with a good size. Well, actually, I had a 3/4, instead of just your 3/8 and your 1/2 inch, I had a 3/4 inch socket wrench on it, which is about 18 inches long, and I couldn't turn those bolts. So then I just so happened that several months back, I think I saw a breakover bar on sale. It was one of those end cap, like getting rid of inventory type sales at Menards, where they have the stuff on special, on the end of an aisle. And anyway, there's just random stuff sitting there. Well, one of the random things was a 3-foot long breakover bar, 3/4 inch drive, and I thought, wow, that's awesome. And it was $60, which is a lot of money, but for that type of tool, if you bought it, at the regular price, you'd pay more than that. So I said, I'm going to get that sucker. And that's what it took to break that loose today. And I hit with 3/4 drive, 3/4, type socket on that bolt, and it broke it loose, but it flexed that bar pretty good too before it broke loose. So anyway, to give you some idea of what I'm up against. For whatever reason, this thing is just crazy hard to get apart. So pry again is exactly what I've been doing. Let's see. It scrolled on me, so I'm trying to find my place. Scott Roberts says, did someone use Loctite on those hard to remove? Some of those did have. And in fact, the one I just told you about had Loctite on one side. The other side was still real tight, but it didn't seem to have Loctite on it, or it didn't show any remnants of it like the one side did. The one side definitely had it on there. The other side didn't seem to. Yeah, and heat would help too. I agree. Yeah, I do use heat when I need to. Yeah, and Bruce says being tight might be why it's held together so long. Well, that's true too. I'm tightening it back up pretty tight. Maybe not quite to the extent that I'm taking it loose, but pretty dang tight, Bo Horn says, Itchy Boots in the UK. Pretty cool. Yeah. Yeah, she's been touring around there. Yeah, those tall motorcycles are just about her undoing. I'm surprised she does as well as she does. I mean, it's tough to ride something when you can't get your feet on the ground like that. She does pretty good. Okay, I don't see any more question marks down there. There's 114 viewers at the moment. But my plans for this afternoon are to go back down there and try to finish that up and try to get it back together. That's going to take most of the afternoon if things go well. And if they go really hard, like they have been, though I've got just about everything apart now. So now it's mostly putting it back together. So it shouldn't be quite as bad. Shouldn't even say it out loud. But, hopefully I'm going to get it back together. The one thing that I wasn't counting on was that there was 4 hoses connecting the different ports back and forth across these pumps. And they must be low pressure because they were all clamped with hose clamps rather than, actual hydraulic fittings. So they must be low pressure. But they were the kind of clamps that you can't reuse. They were the pinch clamps, you pinch them down and they tighten up. So I'm going to have to go to town, get a bunch of clamps. So it just doesn't quit. It's like you just can't win. Oh, Dottie's asking, is there a play along tonight? Well, I'm glad you asked that because I had intended to talk about that, and I do plan on having it. It'll just be myself this evening. Let's see. Scott Roberts says it's a short session, but there's time for thumbs up. I would appreciate it if everybody would do that. And I will have the play along this evening at about 7 o'clock. At least that's my plan right now. Now, if something happens, like, I don't know, I end up straining my guts out or something and I just can't deal with it for whatever reason, I'll put the notice out there. I'll put it out there just like it's going to be live, but I'll put in the title that, sorry, I have to cancel. But I don't expect to cancel. I expect we'll have it, and it'll be at 7 o'clock. But just in case, read the title, and then you'll know. Luke Varvel says, I frequently go back and watch your repair videos. You basically have a luthier school online. Thank you, sir. Well, you are welcome. And yeah, that's kind of the way I feel about it. And the way things are going, I'm still going to be putting a few videos out every once in a while. Like I've got this 1941 or 2, I forget what the exact year is, on that Martin 0018. That's going to be a good video for learning, assuming I can fix it. It's a fairly good assumption considering I haven't really run into any instruments I couldn't fix, but you're biting off a lot when you're biting off an instrument like that, where I got to take the bridge off, make a whole new bridge. I'm going to have to take the neck out and put the neck back in at the proper angle, and probably have to fix the joint, and fill the joint or whatever. So it's going to be a good video when I get to it. I might not get to that for another week or two, or a couple of weeks maybe. Bill Mumbo, Itchy Boots got down to the Dover coast, my old fishing spot. Yeah, that was really cool to see the chalk, and the cliffs and stuff. That's pretty cool. Bill Rhodes, Jerry, I'm going to say some prayers for you, buddy. Well, thank you, Bill. I appreciate it. I can use all the help I can get. I don't mean to just make it sound like I'm just whining and complaining, but seriously, there's been several moments out there where if there was 2 of us, like 2 really knowledgeable, capable people, it would still be hard. If there were 2 of us doing the same thing that I'm doing by myself, it would really be hard with 2 people. And, to do it all by yourself, it's tough. That's all I can say. Sidecar bomb down. Oh, sorry, he did no question marks. I just thought maybe it had something to do with her. Anyway, I think, guys, I'm going to have to let that be it, and I'm going to rest for another 15 or 20 minutes and get back at it. Y'all have a great afternoon, and hopefully we'll see you this evening about 7 o'clock my time. Be there or be square. See you then.